was great to watch him play.
So you're closer to the court than you're going to be to the moon, then, huh?
Oh, by a long shot, man. That is actually a really important part of this mission to understand. We aren't landing on the moon. We aren't even going to orbit. We're not going to stop and get into a low orbit. We're going to pass the moon, and our closest point will be between 6,000 and 8,000 miles. That's the diameter of the Earth. Now, we'll still be close to the moon, right, compared to the 240,000 miles we start off at. But it'll be awesome to see the moon in the foreground and the Earth out way beyond it.
Your occupation is fascinating. You've got to get out of here because you're very busy. Only 24 people have ever done this, gone around.
He's headed to the moon.
Yes,
Dan.
gone. This is, it hasn't happened
around the moon. I'd be more impressed if he was landing on the moon, but still impressed.
That's fine.
Yeah,
Victor, are you infuriated?
Agree with you.
Okay, I was going to say, are you furious that you get this mission instead of the one that allows you to walk on the actual moon?
No way. This is awesome. Like you said, 24 human beings in all of human history. And so we're going to increase that number. But man, this is a special time and this mission is special. And I'm a part of a team. And to get the team to that next stage where we're going to land people or dock to a space station, a gateway around the moon, it is a privilege just to be carrying the baton for this part.
What are you guys laughing about back there?
No, it's like when you say something special, like my mom says I'm special too, but it's like, there's other things that are more important.
There's always things more important. That's true. Yes. But we're going to the moon.
Yeah, there's not.
You pretty badass.
Can you explain?
That's kind of singular.
Yes, it is. What is the question you most often get? People are curious about that, your lifestyle. I have a variety of questions, but what's the one you get most often?
Oh, wow. Honestly, the question I get most often, which is a little surprising, is the Earth really round?
Oh, wow.
I mean, I get asked that so much, or maybe that's just the one that stands out the most to me. But people ask me like serious. They pull me aside, like, okay, I saw you just give your talk. I saw the videos, like when you filmed an entire orbit and did a time lapse. Yeah, but like, come on, tell me for real, is the Earth really round?
Victor,
so it's surprising.
How is that possible? What would have been so great, Victor? I wish you'd said no.
A very high definition orbit around the Earth, and so orbit's not possible if it's not round. But listen, to be a little more specific, it's an ellipsoid. If you took a tomato and looked at that, it's not perfectly round. It's kind of flat on the top and the bottom. It is that shape. It is round. Orbit wouldn't be possible without it being spherical.
I can't believe your job is fascinating. That's the most common question. I thought it'd be in the realm of what's the most scared you have been in thinking about some of this stuff that you do for a living that many of us find scary. It takes a certain type to do this.
I do get asked that question quite a bit, and I would say, listen, I'm sure you have work with folks who the thought of speaking to hundreds of people all around the country is scary. And so your job is scary to some people. I loved watching those young men play last night. One of those teams was going to win and one was going to lose. I always appreciate the courage, the heart it takes to get up in front of a stage, a group of people and do anything. And so I appreciate courage in all its forms. And so, yes, this is a physically demanding thing, and riding a rocket is a challenging thing, but we study it and we train. And we do so many simulations that helps you to kind of emotionally prepare for it, but you also understand what you can and can't do. And at some point you get to a stage where worrying and being afraid would only make you less capable in the moment. And so we train. That movie, The Right Stuff, wasn't about ego. It's not about ego. This is not a machismo thing. We work hard. We bust our ass to be ready to do the job that we do.
Victor, you're going to be the first black astronaut to go on a lunar mission. Why don't you go over some of the history of African Americans going into space?
Oh, gosh. Okay. Well, listen, I got to start with my friend, mentor, and icon, Ed Dwight, who back in the Kennedy administration was asked to become the first astronaut candidate. And because of a lot of things that we'll summarize as just racism, was not allowed into the program and didn't make it into that class. That was 20 years before the first black astronaut was flying space. That's, again, another friend and mentor, Guy Bluford, who flew as a part of the shuttle program. Right after Sally Ride, the first woman, he got to watch her navigate those challenging situations. And then he was the first black man to fly in space. But actually, between the two, between Ed Dwight and Guy Bluford, we had another man named Robert Lawrence, Major Robert Lawrence, who was training for the Air Force's space program, the Manned Orbiting Laboratory, the MOLE program, and he died in an airplane accident. And so there's been a really interesting history, and I believe I come along as the 21st African American selected for the NASA astronaut program. You had a Cuban American, a black Cuban, fly with the Russians. Actually, back then they were the Soviet Union. And Cuba had an astronaut fly. And so it's been an interesting history. And I tell you what, my favorite thing about it is people like to talk about the first, man, but the seconds, thirds, and it becoming normal is what I'm about. So hopefully I'm a force to get this on the point, to the point where young black kids grow up thinking, man, I can hoop. I can be a football player like Emmitt Smith, my fraternity brother, but I can also be an astronaut or a doctor like Victor Glover or his daughter wants to be. And so I love it that we're changing the game. We're broadening the game.
That's unfair to do that.
Emmitt Smith. He was fine until Emmitt.
Victor, can you please tell us what is something to a layman that a layman wouldn't understand about how hard, when you say it's physically taxing, explain it to us in ways that we can understand.
Oh, big time. First of all, Emmitt Smith is a great. I don't know why that was debatable. Okay, one of the greats. He's a classy man.
They were making fun of you. No. You don't get the show. No, they're making fun of you for name dropping. They're making fun of you for name dropping Emmitt Smith.
Okay. All right. So this job, physically demanding part of this job is spacewalking. You know, we're not going to spacewalk on this mission. Artemis II won't have any spacewalks, but spacewalking is challenging, and we still train for it. I'm an instructor, so I will still do spacewalking training. And it's the equivalent. We call it spacewalks. We really should say space crawl, because you don't use your feet as much. You move around with your hands, but then you also have to do the work with your hands. So when you get where you're going, you put the clips down and you get your drill and you do the work to repair or install whatever you're doing. And those spacewalks, you see us outside when you watch NASA TV, like I know you all do. We're outside for 7 hours, plus or minus. But we get in the suit hours before and we're in about an hour afterwards. So you're inside that enclosed volume for 10 to 11 hours. And all you have is 32 ounces of water. And it is a very physically demanding suit. Even though you're weightless in space, there is momentum. So when you start moving, you have to use the strength of your grip and your muscles to stop yourself from moving. And that suit can, with your body, and it can weigh upwards of 1,000 pounds. So it is physically demanding. Even though there's no weight in space, when things are moving, it still requires some force to stop them or change direction.
A million questions, and you've got to get out of here so quickly. Greg's got one, and Stugotz has got one.
I'm curious, do you ever wear the full, bulky spacesuit out in public just for laughs?
You know, I have to check it out from some people, and if it was easy to get it, I would. Totally. No, but I would.
You would. Of course you would. Who wouldn't?
Do you ever get tired of drinking Tang?
No, because we don't drink Tang. I think the last time I had Tang is when I was a kid. When I was a kid. I know, like, I'm sorry to just like shatter that, but we don't eat freeze-dried ice cream or drink Tang. Okay. But I love Tang. I would love to have some.
Can you call us from the moon tomorrow? Like, how does this work?
Are you not in space now? Are you just you're just in a studio? Can you change your Zoom background?
Oh, that's just a background? I thought he was in space.
You were joining us from space.
Artemis, I was going to say the Earth is round.
It'll be a little bit longer than tomorrow, but I'll try to call you.
All right, please.
That'd be great. That'd be great.
Please do. We'll talk to you then. Thank you, sir.
All right. Hey, great talking to you guys. Have a great day.
You need our number?
We've got it.
Okay, good.
Say hi to Emmett.